Okay, good evening, everyone. This is we're calling this one to order on or August 26th. I'm in the wrong month already. August 26th at 6 p.m. For our planning commission meeting. Can we have roll call, please?
Just a second, Chad. Commissioner Engelke,
Here.
Commissioner Carter,
Here.
Commissioner Vidal, Commissioner Kirkley. Commissioner Kirkley is absent. Commissioner McGann, here. Commissioner Stokes,
Here.
and Commissioner White.
Here. Where?
No, he said Commissioner White.
Oh, I.
Okay,
Oh, to where?
and Commissioner Ware.
Here.
Okay, we have two absent, Commissioner Kirkley and Commissioner White, but I believe we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. And if everyone will stand, we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I hope all the commissioners had a chance to look over the previous minutes from July 29th. If there are any corrections, please let us know. Otherwise, do we have a motion?
There is one correction. It is item 3. It says approval of minutes from 5/28. It should be from 4/24. Am I thinking wrong? That was the July meeting,
It should have been 6/20.
6/24,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with it. It should be changed to 6/24. Any other changes? All right, do we have a motion?
I make a motion to approve of the minutes with the revisions.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Vidal,
Yes.
Commissioner McGann, yes. Commissioner Stokes,
Yes.
and Commissioner Ware.
Yes.
All right, minutes approved. All right, there is no old business, so we'll move on to new business. We'll start with case number 2024-113, a site plan review for the ice machine next to the gas station located at 2901 Goodman Road West on land consisting of 0.77 acres under C4 zoning being developed by Paul Breyer, Tiger Ice Incorporated. And now I'll turn this over to our director, Mr. Andrew.
All right, so as just stated, 2024-113 is a site plan for an ice machine. And you can go to the next slide. Thank you. So here we have the aerial view of this property and its surroundings. It's going to be at the corner of Tulane Road East and Goodman Road West. And next slide, please. So the zoning Here we have commercial zoning at the corner and residential on the back side and towards the east, and then more commercial to the north. Next slide. So I always just put this in there just as a reminder that the reason y'all are seeing this is because every time we have to process a commercial building permit of any kind, it has to go to the planning commission. And so whenever we send things to the planning commission, we always have to have certain things for setbacks, general designs, and location on the lot, and similar things of that nature. Next slide, please. And you can keep going to the next slide, next slide, next slide. So here we have the site plan, the most updated site plan. I'm sure y'all had some time to look at this. The ice machine itself, it's going to be on the 2-lane entrance of the gas station parking lot, and it'll be measured there 55 feet away from the right-of-way line, and then 60 feet from the edge of the property line. And then next slide, please. So here's another view of that using DeSoto County GIS and drawing that shape in there. We have minimum yard requirements posted up there if you want to apply that to it for C4 abutting residential properties. And those requirements are 50 feet in the front, 60 feet in the rear yard, and 25 feet in the side yard. And the placement as shown will meet those building setback requirements for C4 buildings. Because like I said, it'll be 55 feet from the right-of-way, and then on 2-lane, and then 60 feet from the side property line. Next slide, please. And then that's one of the elevations submitted to us. It'll be 8 feet wide, standing at the front of it, at the front part where you get the ice from, and then 15 feet high, and then 24 feet long. Next slide, please. And then here's some actual pictures of other examples that are already built and installed out there. It'll be just like that. You stand out front and put money in, and ice comes out. Next slide, please. And so if you want to go back to the actual site plan, we can definitely do that. But I put in a note here that the setbacks discussed in this presentation will only apply if this vending machine is to be considered a building. If this vending machine is not considered to be a building, then the ice vending machine may exist past the yard requirement anywhere up to the right-of-way line, and the setback requirements will not be applicable. And so I just went ahead and put in the building definition as it's stated in our ordinance. So a building is any structure having a roof supported by columns or walls built for the support, shelter, or enclosure of persons, animals, chattels, or property of any kind, but not including any vehicle, trailer with or without wheels, nor any movable device, such as furniture, machinery, or equipment. And so that concludes the presentation, and we can go back and visit any part of that you would like.
All right, thank you. So does any of the commissioners have any questions for our director?
Andrew, is this considered a modular building? They just move in and sit down?
From what I understand, you could ask the developer that's here tonight. He will have more details on how it's built, where it's built, how you install it, how you set it down, and how you secure it there.
Is the applicant here? All right, if you want to come forward, state your name and address, please.
I'm Paul Brar. I live at 2084 Gateway Road.
All right, thank you. So, go ahead and ask your question to the
The
applicant.
building, when it comes in, will it be assembled, a modular building, just be sit down? Or is this gonna be something constructed on site?
No, the building is already, comes constructed. All we have to do is, basically, it'll come on a 18-wheeler or a Tomboy, they bring it in. We gotta rent a crane, crane loads it, then they bolt it down to the ground, to the cement.
And it'd be something, if something went south with it, it could be something that could be removed easily?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Any other questions for either the director or the applicant?
I have a question. I didn't see anything on the plan. It's kind of dark on that side street over there. Do you have any plans like for lighting and stuff to try to light it up
Yes,
more?
they'll have lights on all sides,
Okay,
yes,
thank you.
absolutely.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir. All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
Case number 2024-113 is a site plan review for an ice machine on the property of the gas station located at 2901 Goodman Road West on land consisting of 0.77 acres under C4 commercial zoning being developed by Paul Brar. Tiger Ice Incorporated. The Planning Commission approved the presented site plan.
do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion? All right, roll call.
Commissioner Ware,
Yes.
Commissioner Vidal,
Yes.
Commissioner Stokes,
Yes.
Commissioner Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner McGann, yes. Motion passes.
Thank you, sir. All right, on to our next case. Case number 2024-115 is a site plan review for an ATM next to Murphy Oil Gas Station located at 2411 Goodman Road West on land consisting of 0.6 acres under C4 zoning being developed by Powerhouse Retail Services LLC. And once again, I will turn this over for the presentation by our director.
And just one quick note, the applicant is from out of state and could not get a representative here tonight, but we have provided a Teams link, and so they wanted to video call in tonight. And so I don't know if you want to have them jump on now or after. As far as I'm aware, they're waiting at any moment to get online with us, but
How long would it take to get them on, do you think?
I mean, we can try to get them on right now. If I don't know if Jonathan, can you like type a message and say like, "Hey, are you here?" or are they? Okay. We can proceed with the presentation unless you'd like to move it to the end.
Let's go ahead and proceed with the presentation.
Okay.
We'll go from there.
All right. So we have a site plan for an ATM. This is going to be very similar to the last one, except just looking at other cities' definitions and the way they view vending machines versus buildings versus ATMs. Some cities do not consider them vending machines. Some cities consider them their own category. The city of Horn Lake has no wording anywhere in the ordinance on what to do with ATMs. So the way we see it, the way we read the ordinance, anything that changes any part of the parking or the landscape or any part of the site or requires a building permit has to get approval through the Planning Commission. So here we have the aerial view of the property and the surroundings. This is going to be in front of that neighborhood Walmart, in front of the gas pumps there. And next slide, please. And so here you have the actual site in that yellow box. There's currently an ATM there right now, and all they're wanting to do is just replace the ATM, but it's gonna be in a slightly different design. Next slide, please. And then here is the zoning. It is a C3 zoning. Next slide, please. And so as I stated earlier, everything that has to get a building permit, a commercial building permit, has to go through the planning commission. So you can actually skip through to right there. Here we have the existing layout. And then if you go to the next slide, that is what is going to replace it. So very minor differences, but you can go to the next slide. And then that's what it's actually going to look like. There's the proposed elevations there. And then next slide, please. So please note that the setbacks discussed in this presentation will only apply if this ATM is to be considered a building. If this ATM is not considered to be a building, then the ATM may exist past the yard requirement anywhere up to the right-of-way line. And as I stated on the last presentation, straight from the ordinance, the definition of building is any structure having a roof supported by columns or walls built for the support, shelter, or enclosure of persons, animals, chateaus, property of any kind, but not including any vehicle, trailer, with or without wheels, nor any movable device such as furniture, machinery, or equipment. And so this ATM will be approximately 35 feet from the Goodman Road West right-of-way line, even though the front yard requirement is 50 feet. So if this is not a building, then the setback requirements will not be applicable. And that concludes that presentation.
Thank you very much. So my question is, you're saying that there is already an ATM. This is just this would just to update it probably for more security and different things for the.
Yes, sir. There's already an ATM there. It's been there for years, and they're basically just replacing it with a different design.
Do you know if that ATM was put there when that gas station was put in originally, or was it put in afterward? Do you know?
So I tried looking up all the records I could for that piece of land. I just found the plat. I didn't find any other records of an ATM at that location being reviewed, so I don't know when that was built, when it was installed, when it got there, and what any previous governing bodies ruled on it.
All right. Does anybody else have any questions for our director?
Hey, Andrew, can you, I'm just having a hard time seeing it. I see where it says where it has like the enter only and how they're gonna exit. There's like a barrier here. So is it just gonna be a painted line that people are gonna have to abide by, or will there be at least like some type of barrier? Just know traffic is just crazy there sometimes, so I was just trying to get a better picture.
Yeah, as far as I understand, based on what I am seeing, just the lines there, just the painted lines.
And do you know if they're gonna do anything, or if they're on, we can ask, because it has enter only and exit only, but a lot of people come from the other side, and try to cattail around, so I was just kind of curious on how that might be their intentions, but I didn't know if there's a way to block it from the other side too.
Yeah, I'm not aware of any plans on how to prevent the cars from actually coming in the wrong way.
Any other questions? Have we got the applicant online yet? Do you know? All right, so what is the pleasure of the commission? Do we have any more discussion, or do we want to make a motion, or do we want to?
I would say go ahead and make a motion since it's the one already there.
Okay,
Comfortable with
go
it.
ahead and make your motion.
Case number 2024, 115 is a site plan review for an ATM on the property of the gas station located at 2901 Goodman Road West on land consisting of 0.60 acres under C4 zoning, being developed by Powerhouse Retail Services, LLC. The Planning Commission approved the presented site plan.
All right, do we have a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Do we have any other discussion? All right, roll call, please.
Commissioner Vidal? Commissioner Stokes?
Yes.
Commissioner McGann? Yes. Commissioner Carter?
Yes.
Commissioner Ware?
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, on to case number 2024-117 is a request to approve a final plat to subdivide the parcel at 4055 Edwin Road, Lot 16 of Rolling Hills Subdivision Part 2, land zoned AR, consisting of approximately 3.61 acres into 2 lots by IPD Engineering and Surveying. And I will turn this back over to our director.
All right, so first we got the aerial view of the property. As you can see, this is a 3.61 acre lot at the corner of Horn Lake Road and Edwin Road. Currently, there is a home there listed as 4055 there on the screen. And basically, this is just a really straightforward subdivision case, drawing one property line straight down the middle to create another lot. Next slide, please. And here it's showing that this is AR zoning. And next slide, please. And so here is the proposed plat. Basically, the depth of each lot will be 340.84 feet at the shared border between Lot 16 and Lot 16A, and the width of the lots will be 215.15 feet. So Lot 16 will contain 1.80 acres, and Lot 16A will contain 1.81 acres. So all the required setbacks are listed on the plat, and the structures drawn on the plat comply with those setback requirements. And each proposed lot contains over 1 acre, which is the minimum acreage requirement for AR zones. And next slide, please. So here is the zoning district regulation chart found in our Code of Ordinances, and highlighted there for the AR zone. It lists all the regulations you need to know for this case. The minimum lot area is 1 acre. And then you got the front yard requirement at 50 feet, rear yard requirement at 40 feet, and then the side yard requirement at 20 feet. And then you have the maximum building height, 35, and then max dwelling units per acre, floor max area ratio, maximum impervious surface on lot at 50%. Next slide, please. So just going through all the other requirements in our subdivision standards. This one lists the easement requirements. This plat does not conflict with that requirement. Easement requirements for streams or surface drainage. This plat does not conflict with that requirement. Subdivision design standards for streets. This plat doesn't propose any new streets in it, and so a lot of these were not applicable, and it does not conflict with any of these requirements. Same thing here, more street requirements. It did not conflict with any of them. And so we can go back to any of those that anybody wants to. Basically, in conclusion, planning staff concludes that this subdivision of a single parcel into 2 parcels does not conflict with any of the subdivision regulations, and planning staff agrees that this proposal is a reasonable subdivision of the parcel and provides 2 evenly divided lots with large yards suitable for 2 homes, each on at least 1.80 acres.
All right, does anybody have any questions? Any of the commissioners have any questions for the director? Well, this is typically not open to the public, but once we have our discussion, I will open it up to see if the other commissioners want to allow somebody to speak. So we'll get to that here in just a second. Does anybody have any questions for our director?
Andrew, is this, is there any restricted covenants in this area as far as what they can and can't do with the 3-acre lots that it was normally developed for back in the day? Without the approval of the homeowners?
I was not able to locate any, but if any is provided to us and we can read it, we would be glad to consider them as a part of this.
Is the applicant here? All right, go ahead and come up and state your name and address for me.
Chance Walker, engineering representative of the owner, 8180 Airways Boulevard.
So the
South.
owner's not here.
The owner is not here.
Okay. I'm not sure you can answer the questions that we need answered. I mean, because I understand the engineering on how to divide a subdivision, but but you can't answer the reason why. I mean, other reasons why they need it divided.
So there's 2 dwellings on the current property.
There's a trailer and a house,
And a house.
and that trailer is supposed to be conditional use, from what I understand.
I believe so.
I mean, so conditional use means that at some point it's going to end, and then, so that's why I'm just needing I would really wish the homeowners were here to discuss.
I believe that's a different property. Edwin Road has had a lot of different unique cases. There was another case, maybe 2 properties down the street that was, that one went to the board for, I believe they did some kind of conditional use special case with that. This one here is, it's a different situation.
Well, I mean, I mean, we can go with the, with discussion with the other and have questions, but I just know that from my perspective, as a real estate agent, I do not like splitting up properties when when I don't see no added guarantee, I mean, because it just messes things up in the future. That's just my take on it. But I was told, with doing my research, that there is a conditional use for that trailer, because trailers are not allowed in DeSoto County. And that trailer was put on under a conditional use. Now, I could be wrong, because I don't have anything in front of me to say, here's where I seen it, but that's what I've been discussing with other people on that particular case.
Yeah, from what I understood, that was a trailer a couple properties down the street.
But there is a trailer on this property here.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
The new home that's going up on this property that I saw today, is it on one corner of it?
Yes, sir. We actually located the foundation. So that the plat that you see, that's actual live locations of what is out there. If you want to go back, so that's the north property. That's the actual footprint.
Okay.
And that south property is where that trailer and entrance and covered, I guess, garage and stuff, shed.
Anybody have any questions for Andrew or the applicant, or their applicant representative?
And maybe I'll also just make a note, in case everyone's not aware, on that south side is the existing trailer. They got the trailer drawn on there and then the driveway going up to it. And then on that north side, that's like what you would call like a single-family home. The one on the north side is the one that is being built on the property, and the one on the south side is what has been existing for many years. And so I'll also point out that if you go up to the zoning district regulation chart, for the minimum lot requirements, it says 1 acre, but it also says footnote 9. And that footnote 9 does say that for AR properties, you can have multiple houses or dwelling structures on that singular property, as long as they're placed in such a manner that if you were to subdivide it, it follows the setback regulations. So essentially, it could be subdivided or not subdivided, but how you put your structures on AR property has to conform to the AR setback regulations. And so the proposal tonight is just going ahead and just subdividing it, which if this property is not subdivided, the structures are still going to be there, and the structures will still be compliant. So this is literally just a matter of making it 2 lots instead of 1 lot.
Okay.
I have a question. So you're saying, once it's subdivided, the trailer will be on 1 lot and then a permanent dwelling on the other?
Yes, yes, the trailer has been there for years, maybe decades, and then for 40 years. So the trailer's been there for 40 years, and then the brand-new house is being built now, and the brand-new house is following all of the setback regulations the city has. And so this case is literally just drawing a line between them so that the house and the trailer won't be on the same property.
We had another case where they were splitting the property like that, and it was, so they would have different addresses, and is that the case? I mean, is that the reason for this?
I wouldn't say so exactly. I mean, that would be a question for the homeowner, but I would imagine having a different address would make a lot of sense, since the goal is to have the 2 properties become their own entities, rather than 2 houses being on 1 lot.
And then I also,
Is-
I believe, I was told that it's for one of his family members.
Okay, but that's why they were doing it,
Yes,
so they'd
yeah,
have
it's for one of
different,
his family. It's for separate
because,
taxes.
yeah,
everything.
in that case, they could sell off one of them if they wanted to.
Yes, it would be a lot easier to do that.
Okay.
So, so do we have any other questions? You can have a seat, thank you.
So,
Oh, wait, no, you have a question for him?
Andrew,
Oh, for Andrew.
you
okay.
said you didn't find any conditional use for that trailer in the expiration date?
I did not for this property. There's been a lot of talk about trailer, I think it's like a couple lots down the street, where there was some kind of special situation about a family member moving into a trailer that I guess was built in addition to a property that was there. But this one's kind of like the reverse, where a house, like a big house, is being built on the same property that follows all the setback regulations.
Can you elaborate more on his, what Chairman mentioned about the sort of kind of rules for trailers?
So we had only looked up for what was currently being built, and so because of that, we only looked at City of Horn Lake regulations and not DeSoto County regulations. The only
I guess what I was just mentioning is that usually a trailer can't be built unless it is under some sort of conditional or special use.
Yes, and actually, you know what, that's a good point. This development was originally built in the county. So what you're seeing here is it's a county development that the city annexed. And so when the city annexed it, then what you can only build there is houses. And so what the applicant is doing is building a house next to the old trailer.
So it was grandfathered in pretty much, somewhat like that?
All of the older structures are, but anything brand new that you build has to conform to the City of Horn Lake standards.
But it don't have a conditional use?
The only thing being built right now is a house, like a single-family home.
So, what is the commission's pleasure letting the public speak? Yay or nay? Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna allow y'all to speak, but what I'm gonna ask is that family members we don't need a husband and wife speaking on the same subject. So figure out that, and it's y'all have a 3-minute limit to speak. So whoever would like to come up first can come up here and speak.
While he's coming up here, Andrew, can I ask you a question? I just want to make sure I understand right. So if this is divided, is it gonna, so it gets split and you've got where this house is being built and then where the trailer is, it's not gonna affect anything of the ones living here in this trailer, if we split this up, it's not gonna affect anything negative towards them, correct?
That's correct. There won't be any negative effects that,
Now, I will kind of,
you know,
maybe not in the planning thing, but I do know that when you split from 3 acres to 1.5, when all the other properties around there have 3 acres plus, that can affect values. So,
yes. As
Anyway.
far as the planning department goes, just strict reading of
ordinances.
the
I get-
charts and all that, that's
I
what we
look,
got.
I'm just looking at other aspects, because you are changing the dynamic of all the other lots, of the characteristic of the neighborhood. So go ahead, I'll get 3 minutes, sir.
Hi, my name is Bill Watson. I live at 7360 Angel Drive. Many, many years ago, we tried to do this very thing I had a sick father-in-law who owned my property. And we came,
Is it on?
can you hear me now?
Is it push the button?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
All right. All right. My name is Bill Watson. I live at 7360 Angel Drive. Many years ago, my father-in-law owned that property. We came before the Planning Commission and were told every house had to have 3 acres. We have, for many years, have lived by that. If you ask every single person sitting behind me, they will tell you the exact same thing. I don't so much have a problem with someone building a new house. What I have a problem with is we came before the Planning Commission, was told that we had to go door to door. Every family in the neighborhood had to have a signature. There was one family that said no, and it was told, no, you can't do it. My father-in-law passed away 5 months later. We were looking for a hardship to put a home on our property. Our property is probably the best suited to split in half in that neighborhood, if you looked at it. He went door to door, and by God, we were told, no, you couldn't do it. I would like to know, one, no one's ever knocked on my door. The lady that he was speaking about, their property on Edwin, that lady will outwork any person in this room, including myself. She still works to this day, did her flower beds last week, and they were told she was terminally ill. There's nothing wrong with the lady, I get it. According to the mayor, he's not very happy about that. The mayor is who asked me to come tonight. My problem is, no one's ever knocked on our door. Just as you just said, and I appreciate you saying it, it does change the entire dynamics of the neighborhood. Because it opened, to me, from what I've been told, it opens up, could the city be sued over it? Because this is what we've had to live by for all these years. And now also you have other people in the neighborhood, which, I mean, they have the right, if that's what it's going to happen, to now say, well, you know what, you signed off on that, I want to split mine. I want to split mine. I can tell you 10 people in the neighborhood that want to do that, if that's how it's going. And that's not what any of us want. But if I sell my property, you can believe if that's the way it goes, then that's going to be my selling point. And I don't believe that that's the way we should go. There's nothing wrong. That's a nice house they're building. But to me, you build the house and then it's like asking for forgiveness instead of permission. You know, I hate it for whoever, but what I was told by the mayor was that it was brought to the Planning Commission, this trailer, as you stated, would be torn down. And I said from day one, it's too nice for them to tear it down. They're not going to tear it down, and here we are. So that's my question, is why did the rules change? When did they change? Why were we not notified that they changed? If they changed, you know. I kind of think it's just kind of, well, nobody will show up. Let's just go ahead. It's going to be a nice house, and that's not the way it is. We care. You know, we pay our property taxes, and we work hard, and we want to keep it nice. So I'd like to know, you know, at some point, is somebody going to hold either the Planning Commission or whoever that made that decision and say, well, you made that agreement, you got to stick to it. And I think that's what the gist of what everybody else feels. So I don't know. I mean, I would like to know what our recourses are. So.
Well, I can understand your frustration, and honestly, other than the director, and he'd have to do some research, most of us wasn't even on the planning department at the
Right.
time
Oh,
all that
I
was.
get
I mean,
that.
because
I
that was
understand
probably
that.
done through the county.
I understand.
But we do appreciate you coming down here, and that would be that. And you had some very legitimate questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Somebody else like to come up? If you would, just please state your name and address, and then you'll have 3 minutes.
Excuse me?
State your name and address, and then you'll have 3 minutes.
Ronald Newsom, 4175 Edwin Road, Horn
Go
Lake, Mississippi.
All right, go ahead.
When we bought the property, my wife, 40 years ago, it was in Walls. Horn Lake wasn't even here. I've been here all my life. I graduated on the other side of the railroad tracks over there. Been knowing Mr. Latimer all that time and all. But when we bought our property, we wanted 3 acres. I'm an old country boy, wanted a little garden out there somewhere, and Mama wanted flowers over there somewhere, and, you know, things like this. We didn't want it cramped up. Well, now everybody's telling us we gotta let them do it. Says we could put a trailer that people can live in on 1 acre on our lot. And all these years, for 40 years now, we've been living there. You couldn't do that. You couldn't even let one of your own children that was having hard times come and live in a camper. My mother-in-law lives there. That's her back there. She put a camper back there for her dying relative, her sister. They come along and find her, the city did. Told her to get it out of there and was very ugly about it. And she's been there the same 40 years paying the taxes. And I don't think that was fair. And if a man tells you, if you let him build this house here, we'll tear this down. We'll just let it go. Then that man, by gosh, ought to stand on his word. And I think the city ought to back us. That subdivision was designed for 3-acre lots, not 1 acre. And if this man does this, and I have no hard feelings toward you in any way about this, I'd like to see people do. But if he does it, I'm telling you, every one of us that lived there will be just like you was talking about. We gonna be in here next week, and we all gonna want our property on 3 acres. So we can rent out 2 acres or sell 2 acres. That's no good. We'd be doing that out of vengeance, and that's no good. You know what I mean? Honest. So I would like for y'all to really consider this a lot before y'all make any drastic moves on this. I really do. And Mr. Allenmer's tried to help me. Like I said, we grew up together, but he told us to come down here and talk to y'all and just tell you the way we felt about it. We appreciate it.
Your name and address.
One other thing, that trailer that's living on the side that everybody keeps talking about added to our property, I'm one of the first ones to sign that petition to let that lady do that. Because they told us that she didn't have but 2 or 3 months to live. That trailer's been over 3 or 4 years. She's working every day. Come ask us, we own Newsom Healthcare right across the street over there. Come ask us for a part-time job. She wasn't getting enough work. And she's got 2 granddaughters living over there in that place with her.
Hello, I'm David Royce. I live at 7445 Angel Drive, just around the corner from all this. I've been seeing them build a house too. And when I moved in, it was kind of the same under the walls and county. Then we got annexed. But my deal is, I built a brand new house. I had a mobile trailer on my property at first. And then I moved it over to the side, built a new house, brick house, and then I moved the trailer away. I thought that's what they were going to do. That's why I hadn't said anything. And then my neighbors were, telling me about this meeting tonight. And I mean, I still don't have any problem with the new house, but the trailer needs to go away. And no, I don't want to see the properties all getting subdivided up. You bought your property, the amount of property you bought, you need to keep it that way. That's kind of the only thing I wanted to say about it.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. Anybody else like to come forward? Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, so does anybody on the commission have any questions for Andrew or anybody else?
Yeah, I've been around here myself a long time, and before Hornet Lake was incorporated, Rolling Hills, if I remember right, y'all serve me correct, that Jay Gay was the one that developed that subdivision down there. And it was 3-acre lots. Now, back then, restricted covenants wasn't the greatest thing as they are today. And I would, Mr. Chairman, like to see some more research done on that before we go and approve any splitting of any lots or anything down there to make sure that it's in compliance.
Thank you. So, do we have any other questions, or do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
All right,
After review of case number 2024-117, the Planning Commission recommends denial of the request for a final plot to subdivide a parcel at 4055 Edwin Road, Lot 16 of Rolling Hill Subdivision, Part 2, Land Zone AR, consisting of approximately 3.61 acres into 2 lots by IPD Engineer and Surveying.
so the motion is to deny okay, we have a second? Okay. Do we have any other discussion? All right. Roll call, this is to deny the splitting of the acreage.
Commissioner Ware,
Yes to deny.
Commissioner Vidal. Commissioner Stokes,
Yes to deny.
Commissioner Carter,
Yes to deny.
Commissioner McGann, yes to deny.
All right, so the motion to deny has passed, and so just so the residents know that when this is denied, the owner has an option to go in front of the board, the alderman. So y'all just need to reach out to Andrew at some point to see when that's going to be on the docket, if they decide to pursue forward. You're welcome.
Thank y'all for coming.
Did y'all sign in before, when y'all came in? Is there a sign-in sheet over there on that podium? Oh. We're gonna get y'all to sign in at least to let y'all know we had a record of y'all being here. Yeah, yes, sir. We understand. Thank you. So, there is no other business. You don't have any other business? Okay. Do we have any comments or concerns from the commission?
Have anybody checked on Mr. White? Make sure you're okay.
I have not heard anything about him.
Hadn't heard from him. Yes, Commissioner.
I was looking at a house over not.
Edwin Drive, every one of those are 3+, all the way down to Edwin Drive. And then Angel Drive is back around the corner, which do have 1.5, 2.5 acre lots. So, if we don't have any other things, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
And we got multiple seconds, so I guess we're all wanting to